70s at the end of the week, ahead of a stronger cold front moving in for the weekend. Now, we are also talking about a new subtropical storm in the Atlantic. Notice that the center is right here north of the Bahamas. And if you look at it, this is a broad area. It's a big spot. Winds, the strongest winds, and even some of the heaviest showers and the cloud cover displaced far from the center. These are all signs of a subtropical or kind of hybrid system, not a fully tropical storm where you have all of the activity really getting toward the center, around that center of low pressure and so forth. But it is strengthening a little bit. We're expecting it to possibly even transition into a tropical storm eventually, and might even be a hurricane before it makes landfall somewhere along the eastern Florida coast, maybe around potentially north of Miami, West Palm Beach, somewhere around there. As we move into tomorrow, Wednesday night and into Thursday, then it takes this big turn around, and that will be with that next trough of low pressure and that big cold front for the weekend. So this is not a concern for Louisiana. This will bring no effects to Louisiana and coastal Mississippi, aside from a little bit of a breeze just from the general setup at the end of the week. But look at the models, and very good consensus with this tight turn off to the northeast. And just to show you with our European model, you can see rain. There will also likely be some coastal flooding or storm surge along the East Florida coast. And we'll also be looking for windy conditions. Of course, if it becomes a hurricane force winds in some spots of the East Florida coast. Then it gets knocked back and moved off to the north by that big trough of low pressure and the cold front. You can see the hurricane watches and tropical storm watches in effect now across much of the Bahamas, the Florida coast, and off into parts of the Carolinas along the coast there. Again, a look at the subtropical versus tropical. They're both low pressure. They're usually out forming over warm waters. But with a subtropical system, there are other things at play as opposed to just warm water providing the energy for the storm like in a tropical storm. It has a few other things, for example, the change in temperatures. Sometimes they have cold fronts nearby or attached to them. And in this case, there's an upper level low pressure area. And normally a tropical system would have the upper and surface lows kind of lined up, and it's mostly a surface-based low pressure area that you'd be watching. But in this case, it has the upper low as well. There's also rain falling away from the center with the subtropical system. The wind field is big, so that's why Nicole is subtropical at this point. But sometimes they do transition to become fully tropical if they spend enough time out over warm water. So we'll watch that for Florida later this week. But our 7-day forecast stays mostly dry with only a slight chance for a shower perhaps Saturday as that front blows in, and look how cold it could get over the weekend.